Alien Romulus, more like Alien Redundance.
Run.
Today I'm going to be reviewing Alien Romulus. This has been my most anticipated movie of the year. Now, I love the Alien franchise, I love the Predator franchise, and these are classics, just benchmarks of absolute great cinema from the start. The first 1 and 2 of each franchise started off great, and after that they've kind of stumbled, and just the years have not been kind to them. Falling into mediocrity, I would say, both of them. Now, luckily, the Predator franchise did get a good kick in the ass with the movie Prey a couple years back, which I loved, and now it was Alien's turn. So, Alien hasn't been as mediocre as Predator, but the last couple of movies by Ridley Scott, which were prequels to Alien, weren't quite well received by the fans. Prometheus and Alien Covenant, though they explore some good ideas and some cool, interesting themes, they just don't quite stick the landing, and they're very divisive amongst fans that feel that they veered off into practically a different property than what they wanted to see in an Alien movie. And I can see both points. I actually appreciate those movies for what they are, but I could see why more people would want to just kind of come back to the xenomorph and all that stuff. So I am going to be discussing spoilers here, so if you haven't seen it yet, be warned that I will be talking to spoilers and getting into the nitty-gritty in the later half of this video. So right now, if you're just looking for my broad strokes on what I thought about the movie without being spoiled on anything, it is a very fun time. If you're looking for that haunted house in space concept that Alien 1 does beautifully, this one does it great as well. The director, Fede Alvarez, who's been an up-and-comer in the horror genre, he does an outstanding job directing the atmosphere of these dark, creepy corridors and just this grungy aesthetic. And when the characters are walking and you see these lights flickering and, it looks very retro, very 1979, with the blocky computers. It looks great. I mean, the production's outstanding. The aliens have never looked better. I mean, they look great. I mean, I can't wait to get that action figure of the newest Alien. And the actors do a good job. I don't think they're going to be very memorable in the long term. No one's going to be buying the action figures of these guys. But you can understand their plight. You can understand why they're doing what they're doing, why they're taking the risks they're taking. And once they're in danger, none of them are idiots. None of them are doing stupid decisions that a person with common sense would never do just for the sake of plot convenience, which is something that really bugs me with older Alien movies. And once again, these guys are, they're not geniuses, but they have common sense, and I can appreciate that. It's just a fun movie. If that's what you're going for, that's what you're looking for in an Alien movie, you're going to get it in spades. Some things I wasn't crazy about. For example, for me, most of all, I feel like every Alien movie really brings something new. It explores a new idea, a new theme. And this one didn't do that. This one plays it very safe. I think that's going to keep a lot of people happy. But someone that, like me, who does look for something new to chew on, something new to think about in an Alien movie, there's very, very little new things to walk out of. And so, although it's a fun movie, I just wish there was a little bit more to think about, to come out talking about and discussing. And sadly, there's none of that. So that's about it for me, keeping it vague. After this, I'm going to get into the pros, the cons, and all that stuff in detail. So if you haven't seen the movie, jump out of this and come back when you've watched it. So I'm assuming you've already checked it out. We're going to go ahead and talk about my pros. What I really enjoyed about this film is, first things first, is just the production. As I mentioned earlier, the production looks outstanding. Just like the corridors, and you just feel the ambiance, especially watching it in theater, with the surround sound, when the characters are walking and there's, they're walking on water and the puddles, and you could just, the liquid, and just, it's dark and dingy and things are moving in the water, the face huggers. Oh, it's just so creepy. And the lights, and just seeing the absolute massacre that happened once they get to the station. I thought that it looked fantastic. It looked really good. I like how they're just really going back to that more retro look of the original. Just makes it look more unique, where the last couple movies like Prometheus were just so visually advanced that it's hard to believe that those take place before Alien. And so I just think it's just more unique to give it this more retro, blocky computer look. Once again, the production, the aliens looked really cool. From what I can tell, they were all animatronic. I don't think there was a single one that was CGI. If there was some CGI alien, I wouldn't have been able to tell, other than the very last engineered looking creature at the very end, when it's being ripped apart, that's the part that yeah, obviously you could tell that that was CGI, but oh well. But overall, I did enjoy the atmosphere, the directing, all that stuff was good. The cast does a good job, as I mentioned earlier. None of them are outstanding. None of them have really any like great lines that you're going to be quoting 20 years from now or anything like that. They're just kind of nobodies. They're like sons of space miners, and you feel for them. I do. I actually think that my favorite part of the movie was the first 20 minutes where you do see the lives of these guys, and it's so depressing in this, Blade Runner-esque world that they're in, and it's just so overpopulated and damp and dirty and cold, and just once again the production looks really great there, and you can feel for them. You can feel for them why they're stuck there, and their parents have died there, they're gonna die there, and so you get why they would want to take a chance to, hey, they get a chance to escape, let's go. And even if there's going to be danger involved, it's worth taking that risk. And so you can sympathize with them. So, I understood that. They're not the most memorable characters, but they're decent for the situation at hand. And at the end, I do appreciate the fact that this movie, though we all expected it to be like a little standalone pocket adventure in the Alien movie, since it takes place between Alien and Aliens, it actually does tie into the past movies, and I thought that was pretty interesting. I think it does it pretty tastefully. It does reference Prometheus. It does reference the black goo from Prometheus and Covenant. Now discussing the cons of this movie, and there's a lot more cons that I wish, I hate to be a Debbie Downer. I hate to be such a nitpicking son of a bitch, but so many things of this movie bugged me. I think I hated more things about this movie than I loved, and I hate to say that because I was really rooting for this one, just like I loved being surprised by Prey. I was expecting that from Romulus, and sadly, first things first, the biggest thing that we can all agree on is this movie has very little new to offer. There's very little meat on the bone in this movie. It's more of a pastiche of other past Alien movies, and if that's all you're looking for, that's great, but for better or for worse, all Alien movies have explored some new idea, some new theme. They've evolved the lore in some way. Once again, sometimes it works pretty good. I think, like, for example, motherhood is a theme in Aliens, and the concept of creation in Prometheus. These are done pretty good. And then there's resurrection, which is, tampering with human hybrid DNA. And so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But this one really had nothing to offer. The only thing that it had that was kind of different from the other movies is that we got to see a day in the life of this colony of miners and space miners, and they're orphans because everyone's dying in the mines, getting some kind of disease, and you could see that these youngsters, whom all of their parents have died, you could see why they're so desperate to get out of there. It's depressing, it's dingy, it's overcrowded, it's dark and gloomy and damp. I enjoyed seeing all that. I enjoyed seeing why you could understand why they want to get the hell out of there, and they'll take risks if they have to. So I enjoyed that part more than all of the rest of the movie. But other than that, once they get to the ship, it's just like Aliens. This place has been taken over by a hive, and there's all these dead bodies. A massacre has happened, and now there's facehuggers, crawling around once again like aliens. And then it starts turning into Prometheus to a degree. It brings up the goo from Prometheus and Covenant, and then they escape, and they get on the ship and they escape, and they think that they made it, and they're gonna go on cryo sleep, just like Alien, the first one with Ripley in her underwear. But no, it turns out that the one girl's pregnant, and she births out a hybrid creature with the goo, just like Prometheus. And then it kind of becomes Alien Resurrection with the newborn. So it's like it's something like an engineer looking thing, but it's very much like the newborn, where she's got to throw it out of the airlock and get sucked out into space. And so it's fun. It's the Alien franchise greatest hits. And taking a scene from this and an environment here and a line of dialogue here, but very little new here. And it ends so annoying to me. I'm so sick of these endings of Alien movies where the girl and her damaged android decide to go to sleep and take a chance getting somewhere and being discovered. We're traveling here and we hope to make it, and then the movie ends. Like, okay, that happened in Alien. That happened in Prometheus with Shaw and the damaged droid David. It ends with Covenant. They don't come back. The last two movies, they haven't come back. I don't know if they're gonna bring back this girl and the synthetic. I don't think so personally. I could be wrong, but it's like just have the balls to kill them. I know it'd be depressing, but at least we know what we're getting because we let's face it, they're not coming back. And so that's just so like lame. It's the same ending over and over for the last 3 movies already. There's just very little to chew on. There's very little new idea of themes, of ideas, and that to me just kind of felt more like a once again greatest hits, but nothing new to offer. With that being said, a couple of smaller nitpicks is one is it was hard for me to understand what they were saying sometimes because of course, there's the effects are really loud and the music's going, once they're in danger and they're running and these characters have like these English accents, like Cockney accents and and it's just like what did he say? And I'm sure didn't miss any like important crucial dialogue. But it was really annoying because I couldn't understand what they were saying sometimes. So I wish the audio could have been a little bit more crisp. Also, I know this one I may come off as an asshole because I don't know, maybe this is just this person's face, this actor's face, and that's not something they can do. But the droid Andy, I think that's the synthetic Andy, who I think more people are gonna love. I think everyone's talking about like how much they enjoyed him, and he's a standout, and he is. But he just had this facial expression that just bugged me so much. It kept bugging me because the camera would just close up on it, and he had this like and I'm like, change that fucking stupid expression out of your face, man. And I get it, and Andy's meant to be this like cowardly, simpleton. I get it, but I don't know if that was the decision on the actor or the director told him to make that stupid face, but he wouldn't stop making it, and it just bugged me. And that's just a personal thing. Once again, I'm probably coming off as an asshole. Maybe that's just the actor's features, and he has no choice over it. But I don't know. It just ended up feeling pretty long at the end of the day. I just think it just kept going and going and going, and to the point that no matter how invested I was in the story, at one point I was like, man, this movie just doesn't end. It started feeling pretty long for me. Who knows? I do want to go see this movie a second time, and maybe I'll be a little bit more forgiving with these things. But, just the fact that there was very little new ideas, and then it just kept going and going. A part of me was like, man, this could have just been a video game. So final thoughts on the movie, guys, is I gotta say that it is technically a very well-made film. It's very well directed. The atmosphere, the sets, everything, the designs looked really great. I very much enjoyed, just the atmosphere and going back to the more retro look of the electronics as opposed to Prometheus and Covenant, which looked way too sci-fi for the Alien franchise, in my opinion, way too clean. And then, of course, the designs of the aliens and the facehuggers looked really cool. All that stuff is great. It's fun. But sadly, just it doesn't offer anything new. Once again, I feel like all the stuff that happens here is cool, but it could have just been a video game. And it would have been a great video game. But it's sadly, to me, a missed opportunity that you finally get an Alien movie on the big screen, and it plays it so safe that it does nothing. I mean, to me, this feels like The Force Awakens of the Alien franchise. Sadly, it's not a bad film and it looks beautiful, but it doesn't offer anything new that didn't already happen before. So those are my thoughts on this movie, guys. Sorry to have been such a Debbie Downer. I know a lot of people are really up and excited about this movie. I was just hoping for a little bit more. I wasn't asking them for them to reinvent the wheel, but just a little bit more on the lore would have been kind of nice, in my opinion. So if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Comment down below if you've seen it. Of course, I hope you saw it if you're already at this level watching this video. And comment what were the scenes that you really liked. What did you love? What did you not love? Let's get a conversation going. As always, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys soon with another video, guys. Cheers, everyone.